who weren't fans of smoking, I would have lit up too, because it was, I mean, I probably would have lit my pipe up. But anyways, cool. Well, you know what? Let's just jump in here since we it's one. Oh, there it is.
I'm ready.
Welcome everybody. I believe DDR already has us streaming live to the YouTube, so welcome on board if you are joining us. Welcome to the Virtual Pipe Club. We are very happy to be here. It's good to see you guys. Hi Perry, how are you? It's good to see you.
Hello, everyone.
How is everybody doing? Miguel, I see that Miguel's on, but it looks like he's muted and gone for now. But I hope everybody's doing okay. It is a little bit of a gloomy day here in the Midwest, a weird July day for sure, but we're happy. Hope everybody had a great 4th of July as well as busy weekend, exhausting weekend. Thank you guys for pushing everybody. Exhausting weekend. Shannon laughs at me because I was, it was a long weekend. Okay. But yeah, I'm really excited for the club today. I'm really excited to hang out with you guys. We have a very special guest. And from what I understand, we have tried to have you guys on previously. And so I'm really excited to have Shannon here from Missouri Meerschaum. And we're going to be talking all things cobs today and some other fun things. Yeah, I'm really excited. Before we get started with that, let's pass the virtual pipe around a little bit and talk about what we're smoking. Miguel, do you want to get us started today? Did I totally catch you off? I think I did.
Yes, thank you. I started my day with a Tom Elton, a rusticated poker with bamboo virgin, with Ampora Virginia blend, which is a unicorn there. And after that, I'll smoke a Castello Shape 16 collection, and with Sabinella de Blonde de Oro. And I will pass the Virtual Pipe Club to Ramachandran.
Thank you, Miguel. Are you able to hear me?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yes. Are you able to hear me?
Yep, we can hear you.
Okay, good. Thank you. So today I'm going to smoke my Peterson B42, in which I'm going to have straight Virginia Danny Tobacco Patriot Flake. So with that, now I'll pass it on to Dimitri.
Thank you. Well, I'm finishing my cigar, La Madrina, from Dapper Cigars. And then I'll switch to one of my corn cobs. I'll be smoking this Solani aged Burley Flake, my favorite Burley tobacco. And I brought few of my corn cob pipes to show you. This one,
beautiful.
Urban S Cob by H&B. Another Urban S Cob, H&B.
Beautiful.
Sweetheart, H&B.
Beautiful.
Bushers.
Yes, Bakelite bit. Yep. Beautiful.
Grefco. I don't know who made it, but it's a beautiful pipe.
Oh, hold on. Let me see that. See that one a little more. Dimitri, let's.
Yeah.
That is cool.
Then I have this beautiful Missouri Meerschaum with a bamboo shank.
Yes, you do. That's gorgeous.
This beautiful Missouri Meerschaum with a
bone bit
mouthpiece. Yeah, and you see it
with the old Washington label
with a portrait of Washington.
Yes.
This is the newest one.
Yep, the Rory. Oh no, actually, that was the Corncob Nation one from last year.
Yeah, Corncob Nation and Lip. Yeah, they collaboration.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is only tiny selection of my corncob collection. I have probably about 50 of them, different ones. Some of them older than I am, and I love them.
Thank you. That's a very nice collection across the board, with representing a lot of the corncob companies that we had around us, which there was over a dozen. So that was fantastic.
Yeah, I know HMB became part of Missouri Meerschaum. Some just disappeared. Like I have in my collection Phoenix and some other companies which don't exist anymore.
Yeah,
And,
Phoenix did some beautiful labels as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
And I'll pass the pipe to Kent.
Thank you, Dimitri. That was awesome. Thank you for showing us those.
Thanks, Dimitri. Today I have.
Kent, nice to see you again, Kent.
Well, thank you. Good to be seen and see the rest of you as well. And I misplaced my pipe momentarily. I'm going to fill this Diplomat apple from Missouri Meerschaum with a forever stem. I call it ice blue. I don't know what it's called, but one of my favorite Webers is Match Edgeworth Ready Rubbed, and that's what this is going to be filled with. And the joy will be filling me at the same time. So that's what's going on.
Yeah, that's a good looking one.
That is a good one.
Thank you. All right, Perry, you up next?
Thanks, Kent. Today I'm smoking my it's a Dunhill Group 6 Shellbriar,
Oops,
and
nice.
in it I've got some of KBV's Uzumaki. I don't know if you
Oh.
can see that.
Yeah. Awesome.
One of his many changing blends, but I enjoy that. And as a note, I have 4 Missouri Meerschaums and 2 Old Dominions.
Oh,
The Old Dominions I find hard to smoke, so they just sit on the shelf. But the Missouri Meerschaums, like Kent, I put forever stems on them. And I would sure like to see you guys use more of the better stems on your pipes. I think you do some of them, and they're beautiful pipes.
yes. Yes, thank you.
And then I'll pass the pipe on to Alvin.
Let me be sure. Okay, I'll be sure I was off mute.
Mhm.
Thank you, Perry. Thank you so much. Hello, Shannon. How are you?
Good. How are you?
Well, I am smoking some it's some Briar Fellowship Midnight Jury. It's got some Syrian in it. It's a boutique blender that I've ordered from and just trying a few of their blends. It's kind of a summer English, which is why I like it. And I'm smoking it in my right now in my Nording Silver Eagle, which actually was the pipe I won on a raffle on the Virtual Pipe Club a few years ago. So thought it'd be a good one to smoke. And Shannon, I'm actually getting ready to, my next pipe will be my little stubby I picked up from you in Chicago.
Yes.
And I'm really like, I did not know how it would smoke. I'm not really a how would I call it, a nose warmer poker fan, but I had to have this pipe and it smokes great. So I just want to highly, great job on this one.
Oh, thank you. Thank you. That's one of my favorites as well.
Yeah, it turned out to be one of my favorites, and I didn't know it would be. So
Yeah. Well, thank you for that.
you're welcome. And let's see who else. I got on a little late. Let's see
like
who
Randall
else.
has his hand up.
Is Randall? Okay, go Randall. Take it, buddy.
Randall's here. Thank you, Alvin. Thank you very much. Well, today I'm about to light this up. I've just packed it full. This is, in my opinion, one of the finest pipes around. And certainly one of the very finest from Missouri Meerschaum. It's a Charlestown Cobbler. The fit and finish is just excellent. The smoking quality is just beyond good. It says it was a collaboration with Cornell and Deal on the bottom, but she's a beauty. I love it. Love everything about it. And I like to jerry rig sometimes. Now, this stem will not hold a filter. However, the draft hole is large enough to hold about 3/4 length of a balsa filter. And so I cut one down and I poke it in there. tough to get out. However, I got myself kind of a thick paper clip, straightened it out to the first bend, and I snipped it with like a wire cutter. So there's just a little tiny hook at the end of it. And I can slide that down the channel of one of the filters, and I pull it right back out. Works like a charm every time.
Excellent.
I
Great
do the same
idea.
thing, Randall.
There you go.
I do
See?
the same thing, buddy.
These new acrylic stems, they're wonderful for sure, but they don't none of them hold filters. And that would be a real big thing if they did, to me. Anyhow, who's left? I don't even know. Where do we find?
You're on mute, Randall.
No.
There you go.
Huh?
You're back.
I'm back. How
Well,
about Dave?
I don't know if Dave wants to go. I don't see his hand up, but Dave, did you want to share what you're smoking today? No. All right, that's all right. We'll come back to him if he does decide. What about you, Shannon? What are you smoking today? Actually, yeah, go ahead. What are you smoking today?
Well, I'm so glad that we all decided to talk about cobs and acrylic stems that held filters, because we are actually coming out with, I would probably say within the next 2 weeks, ones that actually hold a 9mm filter.
Excellent. Excellent.
So that's this. Actually, the blend that I'm smoking is our newest ones that we're coming out with. That's called Party Line. We'll talk about that later. But instead of dumping my filter out, because I actually am currently smoking this one, I'll take it out of the one that I'm not. So I don't dump everything everywhere. That'd be something I would do. And it actually holds our John Claude charcoal filter is what this one holds. So, and it actually, like you said, just goes right in the shank. So you just drop it in there, put it in there, and that's what this one holds. And we did come out with a line that does hold 6mm as well. So since we were talking about it, and they actually look like this.
Oh, perfect.
Yes.
We did come out with a line that does that.
I got to give you a high five on all that, Janet. That's just right, perfect.
Yep, you guys had been asking for it, so I made it one of my main missions to come out with them. So, and I hope you guys, because I really do listen to all of your feedback, that you guys let us know your thoughts on it, or if we need any improvements, or if you'd like it different ways or anything like that, because it's really important to me that you guys keep giving me the feedback, and then I know where to go and what to do with our product. So, because without you guys,
that you're doing the acrylic stems.
Uh-huh.
Forever stem guy is retired and gone out of business, so I'm really glad you're adding those onto your pipes.
Yes, well, thank you so much. Thank you. And I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to sit with me for a while, and then you asked me to join you guys today. So
yeah, I'm really excited to have you on board with us today.
Don't ever get rid of the old original stems, though, the plastic ones.
You know, I won't. And the reason I won't is they're also loved. So
Yes.
I plan on carrying the entire line, and I plan on always adding a little flavor to all of our lines, because they have their place as well. And there's individuals that really appreciate the classic line as well as I do. And I think that every one of our lines has its place and its value.
Excellent. Perfect. Best pipe company in the world.
Oh, thank you so much. I greatly appreciate that. So, so what are your favorite blends so far that have come out recently? I'm just going to start asking questions of you. I don't know how this is supposed to go.
I was just letting you guys chat. I'm happy if you want to ask these guys questions, if they want to ask whatever you want to do. I was gonna just let you. If you want to talk about Missouri Meerschaum, if you want to talk a little bit about the company's history, or yourself, I'd love to know how you got into pipe smoking.
Okay, well, we can start there. So I'm sure everybody knows, and if you don't,
Yes, introduce yourself.
Individual called Phil Morgan. he was my predecessor, also my father. And of course, I'm going to say he was a wonderful man. But there's also, I'll probably get backed up that he was a wonderful man as well. He is semi-retired. I say that because he still does our like taxes. He's a financial whiz. So he still comes in a couple days a week and handles our finances. You might also know Pat Morgan, which is his wife, which is my mother. She did a lot of shows with him. So if you went to any of the shows before I came along about 8 years ago, you would see that what I would call the dream team is what I call them. They were very congenial. They still are. So it was about 8 years ago, they needed some help doing shows. And it's kind of a funny story. I said, well, I'd be glad to come help you. Well, if you truly know my father, he said, I'll let you come try out a show. And he said, and if you, help with sales, he says, I'll let you keep working with us. So I said, well, I'm not really sure if that's the kind of deal I should be going for. I said, well, do I get paid? He goes, well, absolutely not. If you're terrible, I'm not going to pay you. So I did the first show. I did not get paid, but I did increase sales. So then he agreed to let me work for him. So that's, yes. And my mother and I work really well together. So that's how I started. Then from there, I have a healthcare background and a manufacturing background. So I started working for the company in safety, and then kind of went up to human resource. And then I just kind of slid into learning more, kind of one of those people that when somebody says, hey, do you want to, even before you get finished, I raise my hand and say yes, because I like to know as much as I can. And then when the opportunity arose for there to be a general manager, I actually got asked if I wanted to. I said yes, and then I studied underneath Phil for well over a year for the job, and then that's how I got to be where I am today.
Wow.
So, yeah.
When did you first pick up a pipe and start smoking? Was it around the same time, or have you been smoking?
Yeah, I don't think that you can really know how a product works unless you go ground up. So, I mean, even when I started in on the safety aspect and the going to shows, I went down and worked every position, even, from applying the plaster of Paris to the saw to, we don't want to know how well I lay the pipe because it's not pretty. They literally let me have mine. So that said a lot about it, just so I would know like the different characteristics of how our pipes handle on a lathe, how they're supposed to be drilled, the tobacco holes, how you actually drill, how it's supposed to look, how far down we want to go, but plugs, how far we want them to go in, the ones that are, the ones that aren't, I can pretty much walk by anything and tell you, what was wrong with it, how it was made, how it's supposed to look, what we'll let go, what we won't. And, when people get a bag of seconds and they're like, I don't see anything wrong with it, I can pick it up and I can tell. And, they're all smokable, but I can tell you why they didn't pass. So what things are supposed to look like, and, how we tweak conditions, how we know when our cobs are truly dry, when they're not, things like that. But you had to go through the entire process and learn it all in order to know.
Yeah, that's something that you got to kind of dissect to figure it out. Something that big. I've found that places like that they're living organisms. And so unless you really are taking it apart piece by piece, then yeah, it's hard to run it. So it's huge. For how big is, can you give me the specs of I've never been to your guys' factory. How big is Missouri Meerschaum factory?
Well, it's 52,000 square feet because it's 3 floors, and it was added onto 5 times rapidly. Now, a lot of that is for storage because we do dry the cobs there. So it depends on at what stage we're in, because it all comes over. So we grow the corn ourselves, okay, and we harvest it, and it goes over to a crib, which is actually across the river. So that's where it sits, and it starts its drying process. And then we actually take take off we shell it. So we actually take off the seed, and then it is food grade. So a lot of people ask what we do with the grain. So it being food grade, so it actually can be used to feed animals. It can go to be cornmeal or whatnot. But since it is a sweet white corn, a lot of time it is used for spirits. So I often say, if you don't like spirits and you don't like pipes, you're probably not my type of person, to hang out and be friends with. And, so as I sit here, and one of my favorite drinks is an old fashioned. So that's what I'm sipping today.
Oh, what you have in there?
So we actually have distillers in Missouri that use our corn. You're around our parts. One of the main ones is Pinckney Bend, which has actually picked up a lot of corn from us this year. But once it's shelled, they load it up on farm trucks and they bring it across the river, and they put it on a grain elevator, and it goes up to the 3rd floor where it starts its drying process. So we have everything from small cobs to large cobs, and I think you can see that in our line. So, the differences between your wizards and your freehands, all the way down to your Eatons and your minis. And we actually go through these huge piles of corn and by hand, and this is a big cob, this is a small cob, and we dissect those out. And then they get dissected again when they go down to the chute to the cob saw. So even our saw guy picks out different ones that make different things as well. So they're constantly moved around all the time. I call it like my corn maze. If you ever come to the factory and take one of the tours, we got the 155th coming up next year. So that's a good time to do that.
Yeah, talk about that.
We move them around a lot, and then they start their drying process. But the drying process literally starts from the time it's harvested, and then it comes over. So the whole drying time takes about 2 years to do so. And then they become hard as wood during that time. So a lot of people think when they go past our building, because there's usually windows open on the 3rd floor, that are we really open? Are we really running? And we are, because it's actually that cold and the air that dries our cobs all the time. So some people tend to think, are they still open? Are they running? And especially during the summer, because there is no air conditioning except for in the office. I don't know why people are always knocking on the office door wanting to visit me a lot. Makes no sense. But so we'll actually start from 10 to 6 in the morning, and actually production will be over, if they even make it the entire day, by about 2:30 the very latest. But this last week, our heat indices were well over 100, and they were out by 11 o'clock. I mean, mainly because I really want to keep workers. They're very important in the process. But we get quite a bit done in that amount of time.
So is the room on the 3rd floor that most of them are dry, or that the cobs are drying in, besides the windows open, is there any other type of specialty control that you guys have that keeps and they just dry up there, for years and years? That's cool.
And become hard as wood. Yeah.
Go
ahead.
Do you ever, anybody ever get in there with a pitchfork or something and just turn them over, just to rotate them to get the wet ones out from the bottom?
No, because by that time they've already got the grain off of them, and they go from the room that they come up in, and then they're typically sorted again, and then they'll go and they'll literally be moved in big barrels, and then they're moved to their final drying place. And then a lot of times they go up and they start drying them. So, and picking them okay, these are bigger cobs, these are smaller cobs, and they'll start, and then they'll put them in bins. And then they'll start drying in bins.
Interesting.
Yeah, because all of the, kernel part is off.
Right.
So we just typically don't have an issue with it past that point. So sometimes we take it downstairs, say we're running ahead of schedule, we'll take them and we'll go ahead and saw them and bore them. And then we'll put them back up, and the drying process will continue. So it just depends if we get ahead of schedule. There's all different types of stuff that we can do. for them to go ahead and continue the drying process. So like if you
What-
came, you would see some that have already been cut and board, and then they go back up for the drying process. Some of them are just whole and sit there for the 2 years. So there's all different kinds of, when you come, you would see some that were already cut, you'd see some that were whole, you would see some in all different stages.
What happens to a cob that isn't completely dried? What are the characteristics of it? Does it smoke bad? Does it smoke wet?
So one of the things you can tell if we were starting to do a run of cobs that wasn't completely dry, it won't hold, like it won't hold the plaster of Paris. It won't lathe properly. So then you can tell that you've gotten into ones that are not dry enough.
Completely beat the consumer to the punch, which is,
Yeah.
I just actually lit up my Dagner. I love this pipe. This is a great little cob.
Yeah,
It's just a little pipe too, especially you just sit it down, you're working around.
It is so hard when somebody, because right now we carry over 90 different varieties and styles. When somebody comes up to me and says, what do you recommend? And that is why I love going, because like I'm going to be visiting you in a couple weeks, at Arlington. It is so nice to go and have the individuals be able to pick up and feel what feels good in their hand. A lot of time when I'm designing, I really go for what is comfortable in the hand, because that is what's going to be comfortable, make the smoke comfortable, what an individual really feels comfortable holding. Do they like to talk a lot? I'm a person that really talks with my hands. What feels good to me? Are you working and you want it held in your mouth? Do you like a clencher? Do you like a nose warmer? Are you a straight individual? Do you like it kind of, bent away from your mouth? I'm a straight. My husband's a bent. Or are you an individual that smokes enough so that you really like in your rotation a bunch of different ones depending on, what you're doing? Are you an individual that really likes statement pieces? So you're being comfortable really isn't so much up your line, but you would prefer to have statement pieces, conversation pieces. So I try to take all of that when I'm asking somebody, what are they looking for?
Right. And that's breaking it down and getting an individual pipe. I think you guys, that's not over 90 varieties. I didn't even realize I've been flipping through your website as you mentioned, you're making a trip out to Arlington Pipe and Cigar Lounge at the end of the month for an event that we're really excited about. So I've been flipping through your guys' website for, the last couple of weeks, and I didn't realize it 90. It's incredible the amount of variety that you have. It's really just something for everybody. I'm not a huge cob smoker, and I love this pipe. I love it. And what's funny, actually, Alvin was showing his, it's not the Citadel. What is the name of that, reverse? Yes.
The Cadell.
The Cadell. Yes. And I might have to have you bring a few more of those up so that I can get one of those. So I can buy one, because I think it's a beautiful pipe, and it's a reverse calabash, correct?
Correct.
Yeah.
I think Alvin can speak what his thoughts were, because I go on about it, but I think you really need to talk to somebody that. Alvin, what were your thoughts about it?
Well, it's really funny, but I went up, I always go to Shannon's table, and I've got several cobs, but I looked at that one and I went back to look at it 4 or 5 times because I wasn't sure. I'm not, like I said, I'm not a nose warmer fan. That's not the kind of pipe I normally get, but I looked at it and I said, that looks like that would be a great smoker. So I went ahead and took a chance on it, and it just smokes great and doesn't have a filter. But I will tell you that it does smoke very cool, even for the how short it is. I don't know if it's just the thickness of the cob. It's a really thick pipe, and
draft hole should help. Can we see that reverse calabash?
Yeah, actually, sure
that'll help cool it up.
There we go.
Yeah. That's
It's
cool.
thick. And then it's got a very thick stem. And I think I can actually trim off a 9mm and get in there and do like Randall does.
Yeah,
Do it,
just let
pull it out.
just let it lay in there.
Yeah, and I will tell you on this pipe, that stem would be easy to drill for a 6mm. There's plenty of room for that. So you could even do the adapter and have it work it both ways. So that would be my ideal. But it smokes very cool, and I'm very happy with it.
Well, and that's kind of what is intriguing me about what you're saying is because I'm not usually a nose warmer fan either. I like straight pipes, but I'm not usually a nose warmer. And this guy smokes great for me, and I'm gonna grab one of those. So
It's actually the only nose warmer I have. That's it.
Hey Shannon, at the show end of July, I guess, do you think you'll have any of those new filtered pipes along?
Oh, absolutely. We're right at the end of we're just we're at the naming point of this. So I actually come back. I took this week to finish some stuff up here, and they were just finishing, they had the straight ones. They were finishing up the bend on the bent ones. And then we were doing rock, paper, scissors over the name. So because it's something that we're going to keep. So we wanted to make sure that we got the name that it deserved. And there's 3 of us that fight over the names because you can't have an even number because then you could get deadlocked.
Yep.
On the design team, there's 3 people. And so then when you get 2 votes and the other person doesn't matter, that's what I say.
Perfect.
When you get 1 vote, the other right?
Oh no, I get outvoted. Sometimes they look at me and I say, hey, I think that we should do this. They look at me like, no, we're not. We're definitely not doing that. Then I try to persuade them, and then it doesn't work for me sometimes. That's just the honest truth. So I do not always win. That's the way. That's why you have 3 people. You got to be willing to be outvoted.
Right, a little humility is good.
Yeah.
You know that we're talking about a new product coming out. Can we talk a little bit about some new tobacco that you guys have coming out?
Yes. So we decided, I'm not sure how many people know, but at the end of last year, we came out with a new, we kind of, I'm trying to say, because we have we're always our normal Missouri Meerschaum, but we came out with an elite line. And what makes a pipe elite is it usually has an extra process. I'm just going to do the Elite Henry that we put out. There's usually more processes done to it. Like this one was charred. Also the shank was, they always have an acrylic to it. So there's a lot more steps done to them. That's why these will be elite also, because they just have a lot more work put into them. I think I put the other bit into this one. I didn't put the right one into the right one, but anyhow, so there's just a lot more handwork that goes into the elite line. So I thought that we needed to actually put out an elite line of tobacco. So we actually partnered with C&D and put out, this one is Party Line. I'm going to go back a little bit. I jumped ahead. So our company in our town brought, well, one, we are with the first blend we called Party Line because we bought telephone to Washington, Missouri. This was all for the corncob pipe factory. So Missouri Meerschaum. We actually brought electric to the town of Washington, and we brought water. So this one's called Drawdown. So I thought it would be neat for the first 3 tobaccos to be named after that.
Yeah, that's super clever. That's
yeah,
very, I love that. How did you guys come up with? I love that.
Well, I just figured that we're history buffs. Everybody that I work with is a history buff, including me. And if you brought those 3 things to Washington and corncob pipe, company did, that you just kind of should honor your founders by doing that.
I love it. That's cool.
Party line is actually what you would call the aromatic. And the other thing I kind of did, I don't know if you can see this because it's kind of bright. It actually is a cake, and it's got burley, Cavendish, Perique, and it's topped with scotch and cocoa. And that's what I'm smoking today. It actually has a picture of the one of the electric, telephone plants on it that we had. And the other thing I did with this is I wanted it to kind of be where is Waldo? So each one of these labels has 10 to 15 corn cobs and corn cob pipes hidden on them.
That you have to find.
I just wanted it to be fun.
That reminds me of the old style cans from Chicago where you have to look at, that's cool. I love that. That's fun.
So just to be fun. And I'm just going to tell you that the artist at C&D, man, they really nailed it. So the places they put them on here were just fantastic.
Cool.
So like I said, this one is a cake. So, and then the next one, Luminaire, which is the electric. And there's a little bit of history on each one of these, is how that came about. Our founder actually, I think he had 4 electric plants before it was all done. So that was really neat. And again, this one has, let's see, Red Virginias, Perique, Cavendish. It's a flake cut, so it's really neat as well. I'll put it up close.
I love that. Yeah, that artwork is.
Yeah, it's really neat. Like I said, they're hidden all over that as well. And then the last one, so that was your Virginia. The last one is your English. This one is the one that's gonna have the Latakia in it. And it's going to have your Cavendish, your St. John's Perique in it. I don't find it overly pungent though. Some Englishes can be pungent. This one's kind of seems to be a little bit smoother, but if you like Latakias, you'll like it. And if you don't, well, obviously you're probably not. But we worked together on these. I also took them because of course I like a lot of people's opinions. I took them to the St. Louis Pipe Club, a whole bunch, to help me pick these out. And the Lewis and Clark Pipe Club was there as well. And they helped seal these down to the blends that they liked as well. They didn't know the names or actually who was blending them or anything. They just kind of gave me the opinions on the ones that they liked. So they kind of helped me as well choose these. So I'd really like to give a shout out to them for helping Missouri Meerschaum find these wonderful blends as well. And then obviously the wonderful folks at C&D Blending House for all of the hard work that they did, especially Jeremy Reeves, of course, because he's, wonderful in everything that he does as well. So if anybody tries them, I greatly appreciate it. And I'll take any feedback. I prefer positive, but if there's negative in there, well, it is what it is and I'll take it.
I am really excited to try them. When are they released?
They actually release on let me see here. Is it the 21st at 6 p.m. Central Standard Time? And so,
awesome.
Yeah.
Mark your calendars.
Yeah, we're going to have them when we come to Arlington Cigar Lounge. And so Pipe and Cigar Lounge. So
it's on the lounge. So I'm really excited. Yeah, I'm excited to grab some and try some, and it'll be fun. It'll be cool it's always not really nice to find people, there's I don't know, it's always exciting when you have something that means something behind it. To introduce it as a new line and into the family. That's cool. That's exciting. Congratulations to you guys.
Thank you. Well, we're excited about it, excited to bring out our history again to the forefront again, and do something fun with it, and hope that everybody enjoys it. I do know that there are a lot of tobaccos out there, so when somebody, and pipes for that matter, so when somebody actually chooses to smoke your product or use your product to smoke tobacco in, you should be very thankful. And I am. I really, really am.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, speaking of history, you and I had speaking of history of Missouri Meerschaum, you and I had a little bit of an interesting conversation. I'd love if you want to talk a little bit about the history of Missouri Meerschaum and maybe some of the fun happenings around the factory, because this is all news to me. Now, I haven't been to your guys' factory before, so I don't know how much everybody else knows about the factory, but I would love for you to share.
Okay. So whether anybody knows it or not, next year will be our 155th year. I will tell everyone that we are having a celebration, and that celebration will be September 28th. That is a Saturday, 2024. And we'll be doing tours and have lots of fun happenings. And we will start posting about that. It'll be through MailChimp, through our Facebook, and at the shows we will be attending. So we'd love it if everybody would come see us. But saying that, with all of that history, we just this past month opened up for paranormal tours, and everybody says, what in the world? So when I started working there 8 years ago, people kept coming to me saying, so was so-and-so in here? Or I would get calls because they thought the plant was running on a Sunday. Could I come check it out? I would come, nobody would be there. People kept hearing things, seeing things would be on when they shouldn't be on, so-and-so. So I decided to start gathering a collection of the happenings around the building. So when I first did that, women came forth first and started telling me the things that they had witnessed. And then men started coming forth and telling me things that they had seen and witnessed. And then pretty soon people from outside that had worked there previously started contacting me with the things throughout the years that they had witnessed when they worked there. So I thought, okay, well, let's just do a Halloween tour. So in 2018, we did a history Halloween tour where, which was booked the entire time that we did it. We were never not solidly booked. And when we did so, we had activity when we went and did that Halloween tour. Well, a paranormal group got a hold of that, that had done tours through like Fox Theater, through in St. Louis and stuff. And we ended up working with them, and we did 3 investigations with them before we decided. They approached us to do open up tours to the public because our factory is active each and every time they come through. So we finally did the first one this past month, and it was very active, and we sold out, and we are doing one each month through October, and 2 on the 28th of October. So
I love that. I love that. I don't know, has anybody else heard this side of Missouri Meerschaum before? Did anybody else know that there was paranormal activity?
No, but I have a question. Does Mark Twain's ghost hang out there?
He hasn't said anything, but you never know. I doubt it, but I don't quite know.
He hangs out, but he doesn't smoke the Mark Twain pipe. He smokes
kind of,
the other one.
when we're down there, some of them want to speak and some of them don't. Some of them are very busy working and don't want to be bothered. But see, the last time we were down there in the finishing room, we actually talked to 3 ladies that were working, and some are there to work and some are not. So it's definitely entertaining each and every time we go. So yeah. Sometimes we get left gifts. One time we were left an envelope of red hair in the middle of we get left things. It's not just so it's very, very interesting.
That must make it very interesting
It is very interesting
to work in that
because I never would have even thought about doing it if it was things that you just couldn't ignore.
Mm-hmm.
So,
right.
Yeah. So it's definitely.
I love that. Well, that's cool. Thank you. Thanks thanks for sharing. I love, good luck. I hope, good luck on the new endeavor for the company, the latest.
Yeah. Well, actually, our town is pretty active, so I'm not overly surprised. I think it has to do with the being right on the river, right on the Missouri River. And they say, with all of the limestone around and stuff like that, it's really conducive to that. So we'll see. Hasn't been boring yet.
You're staying there. They're keeping you busy. Everybody's keeping you busy at all different angles.
That's right.
You guys will be, I'm assuming you guys will be at some more shows this year. Where are people going to be able to find you guys this year?
Okay. Well, we know where I'm going to be at in 2 weeks. And then we're going to be at the Columbus show. That is in September. I'm going to have to get my phone out because let me see here. I think, actually that's in August. 17th, 17th, 18th, 19th is the NASPC show. And then let me go down here. If you're in Washington, we'll also be at the Celtic Festival. If anybody's feeling a little Celtic festival-y. And then let me see, is anybody going to go to the Vegas show? Alvin, did I see a Vegas pin behind your head on the burlap, Missouri Meerschaum burlap?
You did.
Oh, look at that. I thought I did.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'll be there. Oh, yeah.
Okay, so then I'll see you. And what does that runs October 13th, 14th, 15th, somewhere in there?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a Thursday. It's a Thursday through Sunday.
Okay, so that's the 12th through the 15th. See, I've got in here my flights too, so I've got it somewhere in there. So I don't think anything in November.
I think shows slow down a little bit after Vegas. I think they might have. There's a Texas one, I think, in the fall.
Yes,
but
so yeah, I think you're right. So it's
the Texas show on the Veterans Weekend. So I didn't know whether you were going to make that one or not. Y'all have made it before, so.
We have. I don't have it as of yet. Part of the issues is Brett and I are the only ones that do the shows, and I have a very active son in sports. So we do a lot of trying to jump around.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that'll be exciting. So if anybody heads over to Columbus or to Vegas, and for sure you'll run into the good folks on Missouri Meerschaum.
Yeah, so it's been very, very exciting. I really do enjoy the shows. I really do enjoy seeing everyone. And then we'll be running right back, doing it all over again because, we run right back into the St. Louis show again. And how many individuals have been to the St. Louis show? Because that's a really good show as well.
Yeah, I know. I know.
Haven't been there.
I love that. That was the first show I ever went to, and it's a smaller crowd. It's a smaller show compared to Chicago. I mean, you can't really compare anything to Chicago besides Vegas, right. but it's a great show. The people are so damn warm and just nice. Just everybody's so nice there, and the venue is wonderful. You can smoke on the floor, or at least you could last time I was there. So yeah. Of course, that's where I met you guys. That
Columbus is really warm as well. It's big, but it's warm. I would say, it is. I was unable to make it to Vegas, but I heard that it was really nice last year. Who all made it to Vegas?
Yeah, it was a great show. Vegas was a great show. Yes.
Yeah. My daughter got married on that weekend last year, so
good excuse.
Yeah, right. I know. I got to quit coming up with them. So, Mew, are you going to make it to Vegas?
I don't know. I might head out to Vegas this year. We're gonna see. Still up in the air. But we're definitely really excited for the Chicago show, obviously, and for figuring out what that's going to look like this year and making that pretty making that everything that it can be, you know, so that's going to be a fun one for sure.
Mhm.
Well,
Yeah.
awesome. I did have another question. I wanted to kind of a little bit more. I'm also a history nerd. So I kind of wanted to hear a little bit more about like the actual starting of the Missouri Meerschaum.
Okay.
Like if you have any like because I heard that there was competition in the area and you guys was standing.
So we were the first. So our excuse me, let me get a little drink here. Our founder, Henry Tibby, actually didn't come over until he was in his 40 from Eschkenade, Holland. And what brought him over, and this kind of explains a lot about our factory, was he was a woodworker by trade. And he was in Eschkenade, Holland. And there was a king, Wilhelm III, had come over and they were having a party for him. And there was a fire where over 1,000 people became homeless because of this fire. And Henry lost his business, he lost his home. So they decided to actually come over to here. So yes, and actually they came over to a town called South Point, which is actually really close to Washington. Okay, so and now is a part of Washington. So they came over, and he was actually a wood turner by trade here as well. So he was turning like, you know, chair legs, stuff like that, when a farmer came into his shop with some corn cobs and said, will you turn these into pipes? And that's how it all got started.
Really?
And so he did. He turned those into pipes, and then he kept a few and just put them in a storefront window. And then what ended up happening is he was selling more corncob pipes than he was the furniture, like the furniture legs and spoons and whatnot. And so that's how it all started. So now he had a son, Anton. Okay, so Anton came over when he was young as well, along with him. But at that point, he was only like around 11 years old. So he'd actually sent him up to St. Louis. And he was, I believe, if memory served me right, he had gone for like gunsmithing. And he returned, and his dad is making all of these corncob pipes, and he's making decent fair amount of money doing so. So that's when he actually had gone and gotten educated, came back and said, well, hey, how about we actually start, you know, making more of these, actually start kind of a factory. So our plant now is actually the third plant.
Oh, okay.
Yes, it's the third plant. So it's let's see. Oh, let me see. I want to think around 120 years old. The building is 120 somewhere in there. So yeah, so it's the third place for it. So that's how that got started.
For 155 years.
So, huh?
That's not very many homes for 155 years.
Right. So Henry was afraid of flame. So the building has like over 200 windows in it and was added on to rapidly 5 times. So there used to be a workstation by every one of the windows because they would work sun up to sun down. So when you come to the factory, every place you've seen a window used to be a workstation. So every one of the, every floor was technically used for production. Right now, the first floor is used for production, but that used to be more so on the second floor. And you see, when you look at it, the first floor, you will see big doors. Well, that's used to be where the farmers would just pull up with the corn cobs, and then they would unload, and it used to be stored there on the first floor.
Oh, okay.
And we used to have, excuse me, my watch is answering for me. So we used to have rings, and if your corn cob didn't fit through the ring, then we would take your cob, and all the farmers around here would then grow corn for us. So, but then it came to where they used to start that, you started genetically modifying the corn. So, and that started about in the 20s. So we contacted which we call Mizzou, but Missouri State College, and had them do one for us where we actually needed to keep more of the woody part of the corn. So, and we did that by 3 old styles of white corn. So we wanted them to be, non-GMO, but we still needed it to be where we had to keep that thick woody part of the corn. So we didn't need more grain, which is what they were going for. We actually needed more of that woody part. So
is besides the actual wood, besides the size that specific type of corn is giving you, is there a different any other different qualities to a smoking pipe of using different type of corn than like a sweet corn, than like a white sweet corn?
That's the one that gives you the larger.
It is more dense than most other corns. Actually, I've seen your corn. My friend Andre Tessier, you probably know him from the United Pipe Clubs of America. He grew from your seeds in his backyard on Long Island, and I saw that corn. I saw how huge it is. I've never seen corn of that size before.
Yes. You want it to be thick, but it also produces, and not all of them, but it produces a thicker, but you also want it to be as long as possible too. Now, some of them are thick and short, which means when I was saying earlier, when they're sorting them, you get, what we call shorter ones, and those ones make your mini and your eatons. You can't really guarantee. And I think a huge amount of our business also is the agricultural part, because you have whatever Mother Nature gives you. Like I like to say, and it's a funny way of saying it, but I'm pretty much on edge from the time that our corn goes in the ground until it's harvested, because I'm sure that everybody's aware that it seems to me that storms are getting more brutal. Don't know if everybody agrees with that, but around here, I've lived here for many, many years, but they're a lot more fierce than what they used to be. So, we don't really want straight line winds. We don't want, I'd say in the past year, maybe only a couple or 3 times can I remember like that. What we'd love to have is kind of that all day, just light rain. And, we seem to just get pummeled, which is and would you guys agree? I'm not sure.
No, absolutely.
So, and then it's like gone. Well, you would like to stay a little while, rain for half the day,
Right. Get everything nice and right.
Yeah. So we're, I look at just about every storm, and the river here makes a difference. It will cut a storm, or you'll have a, bad weather one side, or, I'll be getting poured on here and the fields won't be getting a thing. So it makes a difference. In the past 8 years that I have worked here, I have seen, so I have an extensive collection of corn cobs in my basement from the time that I've started working here. And I'm fortunate that I can also drive 30 minutes, and I have access to another extensive collection, which would be my father's. So I get to see what we've been putting out for like last, 16 years. So I can tell you the shapes or what the cobs have looked like. Probably 4 years ago, our country gentlemen's were massive. Our Mark Twain's were huge. And then you can tell when our drought came in, because we've kind of been in a drought, and that has an effect on your cob. So they're not as big right now, because by the time you dried that out, your mid-sized cobs aren't as big as they were, so you can literally see what your weather was 2 years prior, based on the size of your cobs, because you still have to kind of work with what you're given, like you can see where you just had this 2 years ago, where you just had this beautiful year and everything was just, gorgeous, and you're just yielding these huge monsters. And then you can see where, kind of a drought came and they weren't as big as they were. So you'll get a lot of like, hey, I got one and it was this size, and this year it's this size. And yeah, it's because we get what we get what we get, and we have to try to work within that,
Yeah. When did you guys, so you said in the 20s you had the college do it. When did you guys start growing your own corn?
Oh, no. College didn't do it. They actually went in the 1920s. What they did is, so they came up with the seed for us.
Oh, I see. Okay, cool.
So they didn't grow it. They came up with the seed blend for us. So the non-GMO seed blend. So then that's when we started growing it. So from that point.
Wow.
So
years. That's how much land do you guys have?
We have 150 acres, and we do lease some as well, because you have to rotate your fields. So if you, typically it's with the soybeans, so you can put the nutrients back in. So you have to rotate around. So to keep everything, or else what you grow won't be worth even harvesting. So, yeah.
Huh. That's I didn't realize that the owner had come over from Holland. That's a really interesting
So then I'll go through so you had all of the windows, and they didn't like open flame. So that is why you ended up needing your running water, because we had to end up running the lathes and stuff with steam. So that is how your running water came about. And so running the lathes, and that's why your electric plant came about. So we, for Washington, were our Anton, which was Henry's son, very intelligent, actually went and then studied the same as how Edison did, like right after that, went in St. Louis, came back, and then he brought in, I think it was 1892, brought then the first electric plant on New Year's Eve. I think I got my date right on that. But and then that's why electric was brought out to start running that. And then since he had the electric plant, it was nothing to start the telephone plant right back on top of that. Like right,
you got those boom, boom, boom right there.
Yeah.
The big three. That's 1892. That's huge. That's big. That's big for a small town like Missouri or like Washington. I know Chicago just gotten theirs. Half a dozen years before. So
so it was a big thing. So that's why it kind of just went like that. And that's kind of what pivoted. And they were making so many corn cob pipes, and there was such a demand for them that when they actually welcomed competitors because they couldn't keep up. So
about how many other
in the general area. Now that included our town, Union, St. Clair, Owensville. So probably like within hour drive, because I just lost where Phoenix was. Alton. Probably 12 to 13, because you would have them pop up. Like Union Pipe Company ended up being out of Owensville, then they had a fire, then they had to move. So there was some, we're going to kind of go through the history of it. And during the 155th, I have some gentlemen that have really done extensive history on it. And then they're going to come and do some not really demonstrations, but go through the whole presentations on it. So they're going to give, and kind of leaving us out because of course we have a museum there, so you can get it there, so because it's really all of the corn cob pipes is how we're still in businesses and companies, or how we are still here. today. They were all important.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Do you guys still make anything from like the original or anything similar? What would be your closest to like a original shape?
Well, I mean, the Eaton, the Legend, the Missouri Pride, a lot of those are all along the lines of still, yeah.
The Legends, the Legends and the Diplomats are two of our they just fly for us. Those Legends are because they're classic. Like they're classic shapes. They're
Well,
the
I always
stem,
say,
Well,
that plastic stem.
you see these two shapes? That's pretty much very similar to shapes
Yeah.
produced now, just with the different shanks and different mouthpieces.
Yep. Yeah. So I mean, there's a lot. So a lot of individuals want to know why we can't make some of the designs or some of the shapes that we used to. And that's because one, OSHA. So there were a lot of practices that were not safe. And then a lot of the equipment at one point was sent to scrap. So we now kind of have to back figure how to do things. Now you could do a pipe at a time, but of course that doesn't make sense when you're producing them in the quantities that we do. So we have to figure out how to do it, keep it cost effective, and have enough to provide for everyone. And then also open up enough to also get out to our shops as well. You know, because we want to be able to bring it to as many individuals as possible. So that's something that we struggle with, and I can't say struggle with it. We constantly put on our plate to keep moving forward. So one of the main missions that I did was to make filtered acrylic stems, both in a 6 and in a 9. And we're just about to finish that. So we got the 6 out not that long ago, and we'll eventually be able to get that out to everyone. I've got much more of those coming, and then the same with the 9. And then getting some more of those iconic shapes out there. And believe me, whenever I bring up the word bulldog, if I don't get the stink eye, but trying to get that down to where we could at least offer one is also on the docket. But it takes time to make it safe and at a decent cost point, and to make it to where it's a good deal for all involved. So.
Yeah, that's a big, I know that was a big one for you guys, and
Yeah,
everybody is always chomping at the bit for those ones, but
Yeah.
I know we talked about that before, and safety and sense kind of it's the only thing that you gotta pay attention to. So.
Yeah.
Well, awesome. I love it. Does anybody, at this time, I'm just going to open it up. Does anybody have any questions, comments, anything that they want to share? I know we shared some pipes. How has everybody's cobs been smoking? We'll open it up for you guys.
Does anybody have anything they want to ask or give me advice on?
Shannon, how about a filtered freehand?
Yeah, I can look into it.
I love your guys' hands too. Those things are beautiful.
They're wonderful. Long smokers.
Yeah,
Good,
I mean, it's
smoke.
definitely something that, I can take a look at. And so I don't usually look into things unless I get a call for it. So yeah, I can definitely take a look at it. Absolutely.
Great.
Yeah. I'm always open. I'm always, if it's never brought to your attention, then you just don't know.
I want to make one comment. Most people think of corn cobs as disposable pipes, but from my own experience, I can say if you take not great but decent care of your corn cob, it will outlast you. I have some corn cobs from 1960s or even earlier, and they are in excellent shape, and they smoke great, and I can pass them to my daughter and to my granddaughter.
I like it. Yes, yes, I agree. And that's what I get often is, how long do these last? And I often tell people, well, as long as you want them to. So I said, it's really how your habits are. If you take care of them, then they'll last. And if you don't want to, then you don't have to. I mean, I get people into the retail shop, museum and retail shop that are like, hey, this is my fishing pipe, and I cast it out and it went with it. And okay, thank you. Or I mowed it over. Okay, thank you. Or they'll bring in a collection that they've had for ever and show it to me and thank you. So I really, it's all up to how the individual wants to treat their belongings. But I believe that's the same with Briar.
Yeah, I was gonna say I give similar advice when people are buying briar pipes. How long does it last for? I tell people, you give it to your great grandchildren if you want, but it is cool to hear that with cob too, because it's such a different material.
Mm-hmm.
We get guys who come in every 3 weeks.
Mm-hmm.
And he gets, his same cob, and I don't know what happens to it, but he buys the same one, out of the same, basket. And then we get guys who come in and they're buying like the ones with the forevers. They're buying the ones with the nice acrylic stems, and it's a collection. It's however you want to make it. And that's the beautiful thing about the hobby.
Yeah. Yeah.
Shannon, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
Go ahead. No.
Shannon, I will tell you too that, and I know this is a side note, and I'm sure you heard it before, but I've been able to get some dear friends who never smoked a pipe in their life on the pipe smoking with me by giving them one of my corn cobs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We'd always be sitting around smoking. They'd usually be cigars, and they'd say, "Gosh, I'd love to. Can I smoke one of your pipes?" And I says, "No, you don't. You don't smoke them another man's rhubarb. But I've got a corn cob I will give you." And that's how I got them hooked on smoking with me, as they started on that corn cob, and that they love it. And so that's just, it's a price point where I can afford to give a few pipes away every now and then. And
Mm-hmm.
so that kind of has been a great asset and helped me build some more pipe smokers in my community.
Yes, I love to hear that. I don't know if you guys know the pipery. We just in July, the beginning of July, teamed up with the pipery for the Freedom Project, or I think that's what it is. It's leaving me at the moment. So with every purchase from either us or the pipery, we gave, and that was actually a bracket to the Free Pipe Project, I think is what it is. And just sent 250 pipes to Dave Shane, and he sends them to active military. And with how to smoke a pipe, and he sends a pocket jar. It's really kind of neat if you go and visit his site to see that project, to help individuals get into the hobby as well. So I absolutely agree with helping people and really teaching them how. I got asked a really unique question. It went along the lines of, how do you feel when you first started pipe smoking to now? And what would I tell a new pipe smoker? I would, when I first started pipe smoking, I felt like a lot of people looked at me, like, how does she smoke a pipe, or what is she smoking? Or, I just tell people now that, just be who you are. You're going to put in your pipe what you want to, whether it's an aromatic or Virginia or an English blend, and your pipe's going to go out, and that's going to be fine. And you smoke it as long as you want to smoke it. And you just need to be comfortable with who you are, and ask questions, because everybody in the pipe community, the majority of us, want it to be a hobby for you and want it to be relaxing for you and want it to be enjoyable for you, you shouldn't be doing it for anyone else.
Absolutely. I think that's great advice to give to like new pipe smokers, any pipe smokers really. And kind of what Alvin was saying, what you're saying, like I have seen in the shop and in my own personal, my first pipe that I ever bought was a corn cob as well. I mean, that got me into it was a Missouri Meerschaum cob. My friend pulled out a pipe one day when we were smoking cigars. I was like, why do you have a pipe? We're 18. He was like, you should give it a try. So I went and got a cob, you know, and that's the story for a lot of people. And it's an introduction. And I gotta say, if I had to take a wild guess, Missouri Meerschaum has brought more people into the hobby than probably any other pipe company. I mean, really, at least in the United States for sure, because you guys have been such a staple here. And yeah, thank you at least on my own end. I can thank you guys for bringing me into the hobby too, you know. But like you said, it's per the person. It's an individual experience. If I'm a car collector, I'm not going to always collect, you know, I'm not going to collect Fords if I like, you know, Chevys, you know, it's the same time. You know, it's your hobby. You enjoy how you want to enjoy it.
Yeah. Well, and you have to figure out what you like. And, you know, so, and you have to, you know, figure out whether you're always going to smoke this blend or whether you're going to like this blend, or, you know, you have to develop yourself, not develop for someone else.
Yeah. Or for a club or whatever.
Yeah.
Ramachandran, is your hand raised? You have your hand raised? Did you want to ask Shannon a question? I don't think we can't hear you, my friend. I think we lost your audio there. No, still out. I know you had your other one up earlier. I was able to hear you on that one, but while you fiddle with that, does anybody have any other questions? Anything else? And I gotta tell you, I'm really excited to have you come out in July
and so's Brett. I don't know if anybody's ever had a chance to talk to my husband that typically does the shows with me, but he's a hoot. He is actually our historian. So if you want to talk to the individual that knows dates like there's no tomorrow, that's him. He's just an all around good soul. Most people say he's brave being with me. And so I say, well, you know, sometimes you can't pick the smartest guy. No, I'm just kidding. He's very smart. I'm very fortunate.
I saw one sign that said you don't make fun of your husband's decisions because you're one of them.
Right.
Is that-
And I wanted to ask you, has the company always been in your family? Are you descended from the original founder?
No, actually, we are owned by 3 silent owners. My family is just the face. So our silent owners, they are wonderful individuals. They really have a love for the company and have owned it for, like I said, over 30 years. We actually see them often, at least 3 to 4 times a year. We all get together. And we really all enjoy each other. And they really love the direction that the company is going in. So yeah, so it was kind of gone from one to another. It was kind of just like a natural progression once I got in, and we all got to know each other. It was just like the next logical step. So they kind of have their other things that they do and really enjoy owning the company. And it just made sense as soon as, you know, they went to kind of Phil, and then, you know, just kind of made natural sense for it then to be me. So yeah, but I really enjoy working for them.
Awesome.
So yeah.
Ramachandran, I see that you popped up. Can we hear you now? I don't think so yet.
Well, dang it. It sounds like I really want to.
I know. I'm super curious what he's got to say.
Yeah.
That's all right. Well, hopefully too, you can always reach out on our, or you can type it too, or you can always reach out on the Facebook and ask.
Am I audible now?
Oh, there you are. Wait,
Now?
go ahead.
Dang it.
Are you able to hear me now?
Yes.
Yes.
Go ahead.
Hello?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Now, I'm from India and I've got about 30, 35, 40 pipes, corn cobs.
Oh,
And
great.
I'm very glad that you people have coming out with good, nice acrylic stems. Like this one, this diamond back. It's one of my favorite, diamond back.
Yes,
It's
it's
my
beautiful.
favorite.
It's
Yeah,
a
but
beautiful.
many of my old favorites, like this general, it all has a plastic stem,
Yes.
which spoils the real show, real beauty of this corn cob. And unfortunately, in India, we don't have that option of asking any carver to carve a good acrylic stem for this. So, like you people are offering separately the plastic stems also, how about offering similar acrylic stems for other pipes also? Like, this one is one of my favorite, this Freedom series. This Freedom series.
Yes.
Then Country Gentleman, it doesn't have a acrylic stem. So
Yes.
these are all old legendary pipes of your company. So can you
Yes.
come out with some kind of acrylic stem as an option?
Yes, so we just came out with a 6mm that would fit those. We do not currently sell them separately. If we did choose to sell some of the acrylics separately, they would be unfinished and you would have to finish them to fit yourself, your pipe at home. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that would be difficult. Yeah.
Yeah, so
At least
this
for
would,
me, yeah.
yeah, so if we were to do that, see, currently when we sell a pipe, we make it to fit every single pipe that it's sold with. But this would probably fit whether you got it straight or bent, a lot of the ones that you have. So, but yeah, if we were to sell them individually, then we'd probably do it to where you might have to finish it at home. We can't guarantee the fit is what I'm saying, because right now we make them to fit the actual pipe that we send out.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
That makes sense. And Shannon, I guess that I picked up the Charlestown cobbler, and that reminded me of a Country Gentleman with an acrylic stem. Now,
Yeah.
I think that's what the basic design is it not?
The bowl shape is different,
Is
but
it?
yeah, you're not far.
Reminds
from,
me of a bent
Yeah.
Country Gentleman. That's what it reminds me of.
Yeah. We actually had these specifically designed the actual bit to actually hold it in there. So that's what these do. But yeah, the shank is the same. So for those, and then, but it'll be different on the 9.
Oh yeah.
It'll actually be in the
shank.
shank.
Right.
That 9's pretty nice. I like that a lot.
Yeah.
So it's different. It's not held in here.
Right. I saw that at the Chicago show. I think you had some of those there.
We did. We did. And then we're working on another design, but this is the first design we're putting out. This one first. So
cool. That's exciting.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well,
Very exciting.
Anybody else have anything else that they would like to hey bud, I didn't see you snuck in there. How are you, Chris? Good to see you guys.
Good to see you.
Thanks for joining us. Yeah, Shannon, do you have any pluggables? Where can people find Missouri Meerschaum if they're unfamiliar with you or the company, social media, websites, whatever things
Yeah,
you want
well, I like to make it really simple. I can't go through the whole ... thing, but if you ever just look up Missouri Meerschaum Company, it's going to populate with everything. It's just going to populate. Also, if you look up corncobpipe.com, it's populating. So that's the one thing that I love about it. So it's just gonna pop up either way. So, and again, without your support, there is no us. I will say, if you ever have a problem, please contact us. Just let us know. We'll either help you through it, we'll make it right. It's important to us. If you ever have an idea, let me know. I really do. If I don't know, then I can't put it as it's wanted. So please stay in communication. I greatly appreciate all of your time, and thank you for joining me today and asking me here. Oh, and one day I would love to take you guys virtually through the building. We did not have enough bandwidth to do it. It's until they put another tower in. It just won't hold it. So once they're looking at it,
yeah, we'd love to see to do a virtual.
That would be super.
Yeah, whenever that is feasible, I will let you guys know. They're supposed to be putting in another tower in our town. And whenever that can happen, I will take you on a walkthrough.
That sounds great. I can't wait. Well, we can't thank you enough. Seriously, thank you for spending so much time with us. Thank you for all the exciting things that you're doing. It is a real treat to be able to sit here and have these guys say, I've been wanting this, and have you pop up and say, I know, I've been listening. And there's a reason you guys are doing what you're doing and kicking ass the way that you guys are. And yeah, thank you guys for being awesome. Thank you for coming on and hanging out with us today. And everybody else, thank you guys for joining us as always. Keep your eyes on the Facebook page. Things are going to be changing around soon, but DDR and I will keep you guys posted on the Facebook page. We'll let you know the next meeting and what's going on in the future. But yeah, Shannon, thank you so much. We really appreciate you coming on board.
Yeah, everybody take care of yourselves.
All right, see you in
Absolutely,
Vegas.
everybody.
Thank you.
Great to see you, Shannon.
Thank you, Shannon.
See you.
Have a
Thank
good
you
one,
very much.
everybody.
We appreciate you, Shannon. Thank you.
All right, bye-bye, guys.
You guys.
See ya.